This is DJ's Raw Uncut Truth giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Good energy, good synergy. Hit the like button, share this video if you may. Another game where Jackson State started out slow in the first half, really was slow in the third quarter as well. But credit to Shadir Sanders. Shadir is just a leader. If you've seen him in the huddle, interacting with his teammates, he was not satisfied with the game. He knows, and the whole people who watched the game knows that Jackson State should have won this game. I'll say like 48-14. It should have been that score. But credit to Texas Southern. They have a talented quarterback in Andrew Body, and even though he didn't have the yards in this game, he only had 70-plus yards. He managed the game well, and Andrew Body is a couple of good mechanics away from being really, really good. I expect him and Shadir Sanders to put in work for these next couple of years. I expect it to be a battle every time they play against Texas Southern. If I'm Coach McKinney at Texas Southern, I'm entering the transfer portal, seeing what they got to help out with this team. They have a lot of potential. They're just young. But back to Jackson State. They clearly miss Coach Prime. Coach Prime was not only the voice of the team, but the motivator. He motivated these players, had them playing with their hearts out. And since he has not been coaching, I don't see the same fight. That fight that they had, meaning Jackson State, against Alabama A&M, that was the last time I've seen it. The last time I've seen it. Hopefully Coach Prime comes back next week against Southern. It's going to be a very important game. Southern is trying to move up in the Western Division, so they're going to treat that game like a championship matchup. Shout out to the homie Carmelo Moody. He says, Baltimore in the house, salute King. Peace and blessings, my brother. And thank you for tuning in. The Midnight Group says Coach Prime will be back next week. Thank God. No offense to Coach Harold, but man, Coach Prime coming back next week is so relieving. Because I don't know, the way they've been playing for these past couple of weeks, they need Coach Prime back. And against Southern, too, right on time. Right on time. Weidman did his thing. But shout out to Keith Corbin. Keith Corbin, Mr. Reliable, 9 catches for 111 yards. He always shows up. Always shows up. And he has the most reliable hands on the team. Shout out to the running game of Jackson State. Pickett finally had an amazing game. He busted out for a 51-yard run, first possession. And then he started to be in beast mode. I don't know what happened. I don't know what these coaches told him, but I hope he keeps it up the remainder of the season. I hope Pickett could keep it up. You didn't see Santee Marshall that much, but you did see J.D. Barton, and he did this thing, had a silencer run. J.D. Barton with the silencer at the end with that 50-plus yard run. Shout out to the homie Lawrence, says dropping in to show love. Thank you, my brother, and peace and blessings to you. We have 20-plus people in the chat. Make sure it's 20-plus likes. Make sure to share this video with a friend, foe, or someone you may know. The Midnight Groove says, yes, you can tell the difference since he's been gone. Yeah, that passion, I'm not seeing it from the players. And I'm a big fan of the players. I've always given props when they do well, but I'm also a realist. What I see, things not clicking. The offense has to score faster. The defense has to stop the run. This is the worst run defensive game that Jackson State has had all season. The Texas Southern running back pretty much had 200 yards rushing. That's unacceptable. You can't have that. The key for every defense to be great is to stop the run. And that didn't happen. But I'm confident that Coach Thurman will go back to the drawing board and make sure everything is rectified. Because one thing you can never do is count out Coach Thurman. He's been there before, he's experienced, and he knows how the game works. Yeah, the secondary, there were a couple players open. I watched the game, and this wasn't even the best game from the secondary. If Andrew Body's mechanics were on point, probably would have hit some of those receivers. Thank God that didn't happen. But they could get that corrected. Carmelo Moody says the secondary struggles, they need to get a better kicker after the point after. Facts. Oh, don't worry. Jackson State has a 5-star kicker coming in next season. Y'all know who I'm talking about. See, when he comes in for the 2022 year, they're going to be kicking long field goals and not being afraid to have those attempts. You can't really do it this year. They tried to in this game, and they failed. You might as well just go for it when you're in territory. And if you can't get a 3rd and long in the territory, punt it. Anything better than kicking. Because when they attempted that field goal attempt, they gave out good field position to Texas Southern. So I hope that doesn't happen against Texas Southern and Alcorn. But Jackson State, man, the fans of Jackson State, you still got to be proud of your team, because last season and years before, JSU was losing games. They didn't show a product of dominance. And you know you're a good team when you win by 20 points and you're not satisfied. That's a sign of a good team. You win by 20 points and you still get nitpicked. You should take that as a badge of honor. The next time a YouTuber or anybody comes out there and nitpicks a victory after you're winning by 20, you got to applaud it and be like, yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing that. That means we're great. Keep talking about my team. That's how I would be like. Now, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. We know that Jackson State has to improve on some areas, but they're correctable. It's not like the weaknesses can't be fixed. It's all a mindset with JSU. When JSU has it in their mind that they want to dominate the opponents and want to take over the games, that's when you get the best Jackson State. But when they see an opponent as, oh, I'm playing a weak team, they only win 2 games, I don't want to, let's just handle business, then it's going to be a closer game than what it should be. So against Southern, against Alcorn, I expect JSU to be JSU. I expect the defensive line to limit explosive run plays. I expect the secondary to shut down the passing game. I expect the offensive line to have heart and fight to stop these opposing defensive linemen from hitting your quarterback. I expect the receivers in crucial 3rd downs to catch the ball in traffic and execute the plays. I expect Jackson State to not have any more boneheaded penalties that may cost the team. I expect Shadir Sanders to continue to be consistent. Hold on to the ball, brother. Because even though Shadir had an amazing game, his only weakness, and this is how talented this brother is holding the ball. Sometimes he holds the ball too wide. He gotta fix that. But besides that, Shadir is a general. Jackson State does not win this game without Shadir Sanders. He made so many crucial throws. It's crazy. We got 30 plus people in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button. Get it up to 30 likes. Carmelo Moody says they seem to play to the level of their competition. Facts. You're Jackson State. And you as a player should play at a Jackson State level. When you're too comfortable as a football player, that means a game will be close. Go ask Alabama. When Alabama, and I'm not saying Jackson State's Alabama, because you know how these shines are. They're like, oh, you're comparing to Alabama. No, I'm not. I'm just making an analogy. And everyone should know what an analogy is. But when Alabama has a close game, that means they're comfortable. Oh, I got the division wrapped up. These opposing teams don't have the recruits we have. They don't have the coaching we have. They don't have the facilities we have. So when Alabama has that mindset, the games are closer, and you'd be like, wait a minute, why is this score close? Why is it close when you got all those 5 stars? That runs across everyone's mind when they see Alabama play a close game against a team they should blow out. Shout out to the homie Jay White. He says, I missed the fourth. I checked back and they scored 20 points. I believe. Yes, believe, my brother. Everyone listening, y'all got to believe, man. I know some of these games may not be perfect. Coach Prime coming back next week. They're going to turn up. They're going to turn up. I'm telling y'all right now, Jackson State's going to turn up when Coach Prime has that first meeting. I could just picture it. And it's going to be a hell of an interest because you know how Coach Prime is, man. He got the swag. He's got the charisma. He knows our culture. He understands his players, unlike some of these coaches out here who don't want to resonate with the players, but only want to use these athletes for gain. But here's a coach in Coach Prime who has everything he needs in life. Didn't have to coach. So to the folks who say, I wish Coach Prime wasn't coaching JSU, he need to go to TCU, zip it. Because what Coach Prime is doing is bigger than just Jackson State. It's for all HBCUs. And if Coach Prime was at Southern, I would have been all aboard. If Coach Prime was at Bethune-Cookman, I would support. If Coach Prime was at Alabama State or Arkansas Pine Bluff, I'm supporting. Shalia, shout out to you. He says Coach Prime is going to cuss, non-cuss them out first. You know Coach Prime going to be like, what type of bull junk is that? Man, Coach Prime going to probably have a joke. He's probably going to say, man, I missed a couple of weeks and we underplaying. Come on, man. But since Coach Prime has missed these games, his stock is up. And before anyone says, oh, he's not the one calling the plays, he's not, you underestimate the power of motivation. These players believe in Coach Prime, man. Don't y'all realize the second chances Coach Prime is giving these brothers? Players who didn't even have a draft grade is getting looked at. Antoine Owens is getting looked at the East-West Shrine game. He hasn't got invited yet, but Antoine Owens was mentioned by the East-West Shrine Bowl. And for those who may not know, the East-West Shrine Bowl is a variation of the Senior Bowl. There's like 3 Senior Bowls. And he was mentioned, if you go on their Twitter, they mentioned Antoine Owens when he had that 9-tackle game, 3-sack game. So he's on their radar. He hasn't been invited yet, so I'm not saying he got invited, but he's been on their radar. James Houston, his stock is going up. He's a versatile linebacker. And he's good on the blitz. There are a lot of 3-4 teams in the NFL that can use a James Houston service. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I would love to have James Houston on my team. James Houston's a dog. He doesn't, like, they try everything, and it doesn't work. And and shout out to Malachi Wideman. Malachi Wideman, man, he is a showstopper. He has a big future. And don't think NFL teams ain't looking at him. They looking at Malachi Wideman. Because this is just the beginning for him. I'm so excited with this team. Jackson State, got to wake up now. You got to handle business. This is the playoffs. It may not be listed as the playoffs, but it's the damn playoffs. And Southern and Alcorn, they're going to be ready. But you know what you got to do as a team? You got to let them know that you guys are ready for them. Not only that they're ready for you, but you're ready to dominate against them. Because remember, Southern was whooping tail last spring. Don't forget that score. They pumped 40-something points against you. And if I'm Jackson State, I'll remember that and let all my teammates know that it's about to be a war against Southern. To all the people that played football. Wait, I think we got is that a troll? Let me get that out of there. I'm about to say, I ain't never seen that profile before. Mr. T says JSU primetime. Oh, it's coming. The show's about to come, man. Just watch how motivated the player is going to be next week. Y'all keep doubting Jackson State all y'all want, man. Y'all keep doubting them, man. Like, y'all forget they've been playing without their head coach. Like, trust me, I wanted Jackson State to blow out these past teams that they played. But I always told myself, if they have a close game, fine. Just make it with a win so that when Coach Prime comes back, you're back in business. We got 80-plus people in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button, share the video. Thank you for the love and appreciation. But comment section, what do you want to see from Jackson State? I want to know. What do you want to see from Jackson State going forward? What are the improvements you want to see? Y'all let me know. What are the improvements you want to see from Jackson State? I see some eliminate the penalties, faster starts. Michael Swanigan. Oh, yeah, fast starts number one. Fast start on offense and defense. Because if Jackson State didn't fumble the ball on the Texas Southern territory, the score they would have pumped 50 points, 50-plus points, bar none. Tweezy says more ground and pound. If it's working, sometimes Jackson State, when they getting shut down in the run, they keep running when you don't need to. But if the run game is working, yeah, keep using the run game. Only if it's working. Midnight Groove says the offensive line eliminate the penalties and find it in the run game. Facts. Like the coaches would say, keep it simple, stupid. Don't try to be something you're not. Oh, Terrence Ross says, run game, we need to hit the JUCO O-line Oh yeah, they got to hit up not only JUCOs but the transfer portal. They got to hit that up. But if anybody's hating on Shadir Sanders after this performance, Jackson State does not win this game without Shadir. This game was tied 21-21, and if he didn't make the plays that he needed to make, they would have lost. So I don't want to hear anything about Shadir Sanders slander, that he only got a position because of his dad, and even if he did, so what? He's talented. So what? That's all I'm going to say. Anytime someone brings up, oh, he only has a position because of his father, I'm be like, well, so what? It comes with the package. You bring a father in to be a coach, and if the son is good enough, of course you're going to get leeway. Of course he's going to get the practice reps, even though he's not playing. He's a 4-star recruit. What you expect? You bring in a 4-star, let's say there's a SWAC school, right? And there's an Alabama transfer that's a quarterback that was a 4.5-star, like almost a 5-star. He's going to get the reps. Even if he's not playing, he's going to get reps. Y'all don't tell me if I'm lying. A 4-star quarterback from Alabama, let's say he wants to transfer and go to Bethune-Cookman or FAMU. Let's say because the starter at Alabama is playing a 5-star, the 4-star quarterback transfer to FAMU, you think he ain't going to get no reps over Marshawn McKay? Y'all got to keep it real, man. That's how the game goes. Jamario Davis says, you telling the whole truth. That's what happens. If you that dude and you got talent, you got that recognition and that rating, you're going to have more leeway. K. Lofton says, freshman quarterback 8-1. Let him know, K. Lofton. Shout out to the homie K. Lofton. Freshman quarterback 8-1. And I can name a couple games where he saved Jackson State. This is what a star quarterback does. Terrence Ross says he had a great game. I don't know why they keep saying he had a bad game. He just started. Yeah, they just trying to nitpick, brother. Terrence Ross, I don't ever argue with anyone that this is Shadir Sanders because I know it comes from jealousy. You got a 4-star quarterback who could have went to any school he wanted to, and you're mad because he's getting reps in spring. Of course you're going to get reps in spring. Let an Alabama quarterback who transferred out and go to a SWAC school, let him not get reps. That's not going to happen. What if a quarterback from Florida who's a 4-star, who has game, he transfers to Bethune-Cookman? You think he's not going to get reps? Even though he's not playing and sitting out for, let's say he transferred in the fall. You think he's not getting reps? It's common sense. Sheila, thank you for the stats. Shadir Sanders, 25 for 41 passing, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, efficiency. He doesn't have a great offensive line. He keeps getting hit. He keeps making plays. What more do you want from Shadir? In my Tyrese voice, what more do you want from me? Oh, Lord, this stream is cooking right now. I love the energy and synergy. Y'all got to rep y'all school, man. Y'all got to rep y'all school. If you're a Jackson State fan, y'all got to rep it, man. Y'all 8-1. Y'all whooping these teams' tail. Y'all won by 20 points. And the Shines are still nitpicking. I get it. They had a slow start, but damn. But take it as a compliment. Y'all go to these YouTube channels and you see anybody saying, oh, Jackson State's overrated and they're not all that. Go ahead and say thank you for saying that because that means our team is good. We win by 20 points and you're saying how this team's not all that. I take it as a compliment. That's what I would be like if I'm a Jackson State fan. Shout out to the homie Ed Houston, man. A good brother right there. He said, right, fam, what more do you want? What more do you want from me? I bet you if Shadir Sanders has a 500-yard passing game and 4 touchdowns, they will say, oh, that's only because of the receivers he has. And yes, they have a lot of talent. But if you don't have a quarterback, you ain't going to really do much. If your quarterback is not audible, this quarterback is doing things that you don't see from freshman quarterback. How many freshman quarterback are audible in plays, changing it up, switching up the offense when they see a coverage uh, that's gonna cause problems? Space Age 3000 says Coach Prime coming back next week. That's all y'all need to hear. I don't need to say much. When Coach Prime comes back, he's gonna have a good talking to, and they're gonna get some straightened out. Y'all best believe. Because if you think Coach Prime is satisfied with the play, shoo, watch next week. I don't know what the score of the Southern game going to be, but I bet you they're going to play hard as hell. The Midnight Growth says, quiet as kept. Shadir, keep it up. I'm seeing Heisman talk. Shh. Let the shine think Shadir's not all that. Shh. Because I love this right now. It's been years since when the last time you seen a SWAC quarterback doing what Shadir Sanders is doing? Audibling, NFL throws, back shoulder phase to the T. This is not your typical FCS freshman type of quarterback play. There's a reason why they call him grown, because he acts older than his age. We got 100+ likes. Get the likes up to 100. We are cooking. This is the cookout. Get your plates ready. Get your alcohol. Get your Kool-Aid ready. This is the cookout right now. Yeah, Tweezy said Steve McNair. Yep. But I'm talking about within the decade. We already know Steve McNair is the baddest quarterback, the best HBCU quarterback of all time. And if Steve McNair was on a team coach other than what's that Tennessee coach with the mustache, the weird-looking mustache? What's his name again? Jeff Fisher. If Steve McNair had a different coach than Jeff Fisher, oh my God, can you imagine the numbers he would have put up in the NFL? And they better put Steve McNair in the Hall of Fame. I'm saying it right now. He was a winner. Steve McNair changed the game for so many brothers that got drafted early being a quarterback. So many brothers were, before Steve McNair was told to switch positions. When Steve McNair was drafted, man, it opened the door for a lot of brothers, man. And everybody's got to be appreciative of that. And this is why I believe Steve McNair is a Hall of Famer. He changed the game for our culture, our people. The best FCS quarterback. It's not even just FCS quarterback. Steve McNair is one of the best college quarterbacks of all time. Y'all got to put respect on his name, man. Put respect to his name. Shout out to T Marketing says last time we had a quarterback this good was Casey Thurl. Yeah, that's White Tiger. That was a bad boy. Y'all remember that 2010 Jackson State team? That team was fun. I think they were like, 8-3? That was one of the most fun Jackson State teams I've seen in a while. Explosive offense. He had 31 passing touchdowns. I remember that was a bad boy. When my father was alive, man, I remember we watched the PV versus Jackson State game a while ago, and I'm like, who is this white boy playing quarterback for Jackson State? Dude was a baller, man. I wish that team would have had I wish they would have had the notoriety and the fanfare that this team had. Because the 2010 Jackson State team is one of the most underrated SWAC teams in SWAC history. Very underrated. Every time they played, it was a show. The T Marketing says Sanders is 23 touchdowns. Thank you, sister, for that. Oh, this sister be putting up the stats. She also replied by saying 2 more games. If he gets 9 touchdowns, he breaks the record. Let's hope he breaks that record. And I think Casey will be proud if Shadir breaks the record. As someone who balled, like when you're a player that balled out when you played in the previous years, you want somebody going forward to break your records. And I think it would mean a lot to Coach Prime, Jackson State, and Shadir. If Shadir breaks that record, man, the Shadir Sanders hate will stop forever. Then again, they're gonna still nitpick it. They're gonna say that, well, all those recruits is why Shadir is good. But if you understand the game within its game and you understand quarterback play, you would have an appreciation with what a franchise quarterback looks like. Yeah, K. Lofton, if he don't break it this year, he'll break it next year. But it would be dope if he broke it this year. That's not an easy record. Phil Ross TV said it's crazy that any KC teams didn't win a SWAC championship. Oh, man. Can you imagine if Casey Thorough had this year's Jackson State's defense? Woo! With that offense, oh yeah, they would have won the SWAC. They would have won the SWAC hands down. That offense was a bad offense. But man, shout out to the quarterbacks before. Doug Williams, James Harrison, Joe Gilliam, Steve McNair, Aaron McNair, who put the SWAC on the map, man. Who put HBCUs on the map. And shout out to the upcoming quarterbacks, Shadir Sanders. And I truly believe Andrew Body's going to be a good one. He just got to tinker with some mechanics, but he'll be good. But Coach Prime's coming back, baby. And to the opposing SWAC teams that are going to play Jackson State, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be trouble. Trouble. Shout out to Bernie Mac. Oh, it's going to be trouble. That first meeting Coach Prime going to have, man. That first meeting, I wish I could be a person on the wall hearing that. It's going to be, that meeting is probably not going to be broadcasted. It's probably not going to be on social media. That's the type of meeting. He's going to have the doors closed and say, hey, we're going to have a man-to-man conversation. These next two games, we're going to whoop some ass. I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. You know Coach Prime don't cuss. He going to say, we're going to whoop some bull junk. Phil Ross says Southern looking bad right now. Even though Southern's playing bad today, I'm not going to overlook that team. And I expect JSU not to overlook Southern. Don't overlook anybody. I don't care if you playing an 0-9 team. Oh, shout out to Bethune-Cookman. They got a win today against Alcorn. Bethune-Cookman, man, I hated that Alcorn lost because I have a respect for Coach McNair. Fred McNair is a great coach. But I'm happy for Bethune because I knew they had the players to win these games. Again, they're the best one-loss team in the NCAA. You look at the games they should have won. They should have been, 5-3? 6-2 probably. They was in it every game except for 2. Yeah, but Bethune-Cookman pulled off that upset, man. The same team, Ed Heaston says, trouble. Ed Heaston, Talk to him, brother. No more field goals. I repeat, no more field goals until Dre Glimp gets on that campus next year. Just go for it. Or punt it if you cannot get a crucial first down. He also, Ed Houston says, we just have to go for it. No need to punt. Son back there to embarrass him again. Yeah. When they was kicking that long field goal, I said, what the hell are you doing? These kickers struggle with kicking 20-yard field goals, and you want to kick a long field. That's why I can't wait for Coach Prime to come back. Because I truly think if Coach Prime was coaching, he wouldn't kick those long field goals. He'll either punt it, if it's 3rd and long, like I said, it's 3rd and long, you have the 40-some yard, he probably punt it. Or go for it. That's the difference between a Coach Prime coach team and somebody else coaching Jackson State. Coach Prime is the type of coach like, wait a minute, we suck at this area. We about to change it up. We're going to go for it. We got a good defense. Even if they make plays, we can make stops. And the players believe in them. Yeah, but I don't want to see those long field goal attempts again. T. Marcus says, Trey Glimp. Oh, yeah, I cannot wait. That brother don't miss no field goals. I let y'all know one thing about Trey Glimp. Looking at his film, let's say he kicks a 48-yarder for Jackson State, you don't have to be nervous. He's most likely going to make it, unless it's blocked. That's a bad boy y'all getting next year. Ed Houston said, I'm glad we got other kids coming in next year. He's definitely a beast. He is a beast. What I've heard is he loves the Jackson State culture, and they've been loyal to him. Louisville is trying their best, and a lot of FBS schools are trying their best to get Trey Glimp, but he's loyal to Coach Prime. And I'm very confident that he's going to stay with Jackson State like he has told fans of his and fans of Jackson State on his social media. One thing Coach Prime he has the ability to recruit. And he has connections for these players. So when their careers are done, he can get you a job, even if you're not in the NFL. And if I was a 5-star recruit, man, I don't care if it's SWAC or not. I'm recruiting. Because it's the best feeling in the world to go to a school where you're appreciated, loved, and understood. When you could go down the hallways and see your own people smiling, man, high-fiving you, seeing you at the game. There's nothing better than that. We got people that talk about SWAC and all this stuff that are telling these kids, don't go to a SWAC school. You'd be dumb enough if you go to a SWAC school. Go where the popularity is at. Go to the PWIs. F that. Go where you're loved. They do the same thing with Coach Prime. Oh, go to TCU. Why would he want to go to TCU and they wouldn't even give him no damn power? Y'all really think TCU would let Coach Prime be Coach Prime? Dancing in the locker room saying, my hitter, my hitter? No. Ed Houston says, love, appreciation, and understanding. Preach. Facts. We got to love who we are as black people, man. And know that we can create great things. We've done it for years. So it's good to keep our talent in-house. This ain't a black thing, white thing, Hispanic thing. This is pro-truth, my brothers and sisters. No matter who you are, we should celebrate HBCUs. We should show love to HBCUs. And not act like if you get an HBCU education that is less than any PWI. You know how many successful brothers and sisters who are lawyers, doctors, surgeons that came from HBCUs, historians, people who made a difference in others' lives. You can tell someone who went to HBCU who has an appreciation for it than those who went to a PWI that are brainwashing these brothers, telling them, you're not going to go nowhere if you go to a SWAC school or a MEAC school or another HBCU that's with a conference. Stop telling these brothers that. I'm sorry for getting preachy, but I had to keep it real on it. I had to keep it real. We got to love who we are. We got to love it, man. Because if we don't love it, who is? Who is? And it's sad. Jackson State for years have been down. They get something good. And they tell you, don't celebrate too much. You're going to get a loss one of these days. Your team's not all that. You think they care? When they've been losing for years and made fun of? So if you're a Jackson State fan, you got to be happy. Even if you're not a Jackson State fan, you should root for the underdog. The underdog program, who's a blue blood, who has a history but was down in the dumps until change happened. And I root for all SWAC schools to reach that success. All SWAC schools. Shout out to Mr. T. But man, this is so wonderful, man. HBCU football ain't nothing better. Shout out to the Jackson State players, man. Y'all keep your heads up, keep playing hard, play hard for your coach, play hard for your fans that support you every day, play hard for your family, the name in the back of your jersey. And speaking of back in the jersey, there's some SWAC schools that don't even have that, which is a damn shame. For the names of the back of the jerseys, that's who you play for, your family, your people. Ed Heason says, thank you. The Shines don't like it, but you got respected. Be our love, no doubt. Midnight Grove says, preach. If nothing else, the time has come for our black athletes to go to HBCUs to start showing their asses there. Start with Mikey Williams and Bronny Braun. I would love to see that. If Mikey Williams go to an HBCU, man, that's going to cause a big ripple effect in college basketball. It's a good chance it may happen. It may happen. I'm not saying 100%, but it may happen. Shout out to North Carolina Central. I hope they get that, brother. I repeat, shout out to North Carolina Central basketball team and their coach. I hope they get Mikey Williams. And watch, if they get Mikey Williams, all the Sean Neckwers will be hating on HBCUs, but who gives a damn? Controlling our own destiny, building within our own, and that's what we want to see. Terry Harris says, we were down for 6 years, not 10 years, 15 years. Brother, I already mentioned the 2010, 11, and 12 team. That was an outstanding Jackson State team. I'm talking about what you said right there, 6 years. These past years, Jackson State hasn't been on the standard that they usually are until now. And I'm happy for them. Because I remember looking at the message boards and they always had something to say about Jackson State. They were hating on them. Now that they're winning, they're not only hating on them, they're just hoping that they lose. They pray that Jackson State loses. But Jackson State finds a way to win. So you better get with the program. But peace and love to everybody. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters who support this channel. This is a pro-people's channel, pro-truth, RawTruth, uncut. You already know what it is. Shout out to SWAC Buzz, the CFL podcast, to Mall Leader Sports Network, SWAC TV, and many more. Cut Day Sports. A lot of brothers who've been putting in that work. A lot of brothers who've been representing the culture. Terry Harris says, my son is on the boom. Shout out to the Sonic Boom, man. Legendary band. Shout out to all the bands out there. That's something that a lot of PWIs don't have. They don't have a band that could touch the Sonic Boom. They can't even touch the Sonic Boom. There's only one Sonic Boom. There's only one Marching 100. They can't touch those programs. And when we get the football programs up to the band programs, woo, it's going to be a show every single game. It's going to be so packed, it'll be hard to get a damn ticket. This is DJ's Raw Uncut Truth.